Hi, welcome back to Unchatable Neo. I'm your host, Jack, with my co-host, Alice, and...
Hi.
Yes, hi. And today we're holding our obligatory spooky Halloween episode. Oh, yeah, you get the deal.
Scared.
So before we get to our main topic of today, just want to, I would say go around, but you can't really go around with two people. Is anything, it's just a line, because Nick's not here. We're further incentivizing the fact that Nick is no longer here. Ooh, maybe...
We miss you, Nick.
We miss you, Nick. Oh, wait. It's Halloween. Something spooky happened to him.
He became a zombie.
Yes, he became a zombie. Now he's just walking around the Unchatable Discord server just willy-nilly. Okay. But, how you doing today, Alice? Or this week in general?
I'm doing well. Not much is happening. Did have a few headaches, here and there, but I'm doing well right now.
Awesome. I'm doing okay.
Also D4DJ.
But of course.
That's me every day.
I was just playing D4DJ today myself. Can't wait for that to be a future episode. Anywho, I myself been doing good. Just, working on my VR chat videos for TikTok that I'm gonna eventually post on Twitter and YouTube. But I just don't feel incentivized to do it because the views on those platforms don't get nearly as good as TikTok, and I laugh at myself for the fact that I used to think that TikTok was cringe, and now it's like, this is where I have most of my followers now. Dear Lord, how did it get this way? But yeah, I just hit 2,000 followers. That's like, that's like twice as much as the one I have on Twitter, so, just go check it out at Jackal Crimson with the funny green Genshin Doctor profile picture. Okay. Yeah, aside from that, I'm just, nothing. It's just school, work, papers, obligations. And, Halloween, I guess. Alice, do you have anything planned for Halloween this year?
Probably go trick-or-treating. I actually had a cosplay in mind, like a Gothic Lolita cosplay, but...
Oh.
I'm not really... But, we're broke.
I totally get that.
But we'll still order that even after Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just gonna wear my costume for, from last year, which is me in a cat suit.
Cool. I myself am, I might just go to, like, a Halloween party on campus. I'm not going anywhere. I wanted to go to a haunted house, but my uni friends and I decided, the pandemic's still a thing. Maybe we don't want to be cramped out in, like, tight corridors with, like, a bunch of random strangers all, like, screaming and with, like, people in costumes touching us. Yeah, no, I don't imagine where that could go wrong at all. But yeah, I'll just go to, like, a party on campus, I think, and I'm just gonna... I mean, there is technically a convention in my city, Anime Week in Atlanta, but again, COVID, I don't want to mess around with that. So, I guess my Leon Kennedy cosplay is just gonna sit in the corner. Just going unused.
Well, that's a good segue.
That's a good segue into today's topic. You see...
Alright.
You see...
Alright, let's talk about our,
Let's talk about our new format. You see,
Yeah.
the old Unchatable podcast, basically, we just had, like, a list of topics to go off of. Some of them was, like, things that one or two podcast of the, co-hosts knew nothing about or was not interested in, or we just didn't talk about them very frequently, or it just wasn't very controlled. So... With this new format that Alice and I discussed while we were getting this back up running is we might have like one or two episodes every now and then, like if there's a Nintendo Direct or some kind of big like E3 or something where we can talk about multiple things. But on like a normal occurrence, we're just gonna have our normal episodes would just be talking about one franchise. We were gonna have one the week before for Smash because Sora got announced, but we pushed that off because like we were both getting really busy with IRL stuff. So that week just became our "Hey, we're back" episode. So today, I guess we're jumping right into our topic. This franchise is one of my it's actually one of my personal favorites. It's probably my favorite horror franchise of all time. Yes, excluding gaming. I've beaten a bunch of the games, and apparently there's there's a movie that's in production right now that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's actually pretty it's been around for quite a while and it's iconic. So today we're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's.
You son of a gun.
That's right, Alice, I trapped you. We're not talking about Resident Evil, we're talking about the funny bear game.
No!
Yes! Okay, no, but yeah, today we're talking...
Now I've become an animatronic.
FNAF at Freddy's. That's where I wanna be, FNAF at Freddy's.
Yes.
Okay, but seriously. Today we're talking about Resident Evil. One of my favorite gaming franchises of all time, and my favorite horror franchise ever. So, yeah. It started, like, when did the first game come? The first game came out on the PlayStation 1. The first 3 games were on the PS1, and they were basically survival horrors with tank controls. That wasn't really by choice. It was more just a matter of, that was just a matter of what you could do on the PlayStation at the time. Even, like, driving games, like, you had to press the bumpers left and right in order to walk in a specific direction. I don't know why I just went off about the control style. Resident Evil 1 actually started off life as a remake of the Super Famicom horror game. I think it was called Sweet Home. I forgot what the actual name of it is, but yeah. It started off life as that, but then they eventually just brought it back over again and again. Alice, are you aware of the two directors of the first Resident Evil game?
I know Hideki Kamiya directed 2. I'm not familiar with the second. I have it in mind. I have the name in mind, but I don't know what it is. What his name is. It
was actually directed by Shinji Mikami.
Shinji Mikami, that's the one.
What I understand was the game was originally called Sweet Home, and they brought in Mikami was let's see if I remember correctly. Mikami was brought in not because he was like, oh, he understands horror. No, he was a big scaredy cat. So they basically brought him on just so they could just like show stuff to him, see what scared him, what made him, and just had him playtest everything. So like, what are you scared of? We'll make that into a game. It'll be great. And then kicked off like one of the biggest media franchises in the medium.
That.
So yeah. Starting off, I guess we can talk about Resident Evil 1. I didn't play the original. I played the GameCube remake that was ported to Switch. From what I played of it myself, the entire game did keep up the original playstyle from the PS1 version. Oh my god, I just remembered. I had to remember too now was the fact that Resident Evil also had the director's cut, which was basically the director's cut was not great. They really bogged down a lot of they basically had to remove a bunch of the music due to copyright issues with them re-releasing it. And the music they replaced was not great. But you know what
it's also a masterpiece at the same time.
The music?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Like it sounds like the Dragon Quest midis.
But on steroids.
Yeah, but on like 3 bottles of Robitussin. Now, I think
It is what it is.
the GameCube version is like the perfect way you can experience Resident Evil 1. But Resident Evil 1 has 1 point over the version on PS1 does have 1 point over the remake. Do you want to know what that is?
The voice acting?
The voice acting.
Yeah.
Jill, don't open that door.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Here, take this
You're
lockpick,
right.
figuring as you are the master of unlocking. Oh my god, the voice acting in that game is absolutely perfect. Barry Burton's Barry Burton acting in that game is so stupid. I love it. That's like, I would almost call the original superior just for that. I've desperately looked at my local game stores for a copy of the PS1 version, not director's cut, just so I could have the voice acting, just to play on my PS1 at my dad's. It's absolutely terrific. So, getting back to the actual meat and bones of it, it did have tank controls, but Resident Evil 1 was basically about how these a group of people went missing in the mountains. So Raccoon City's police department, aka STARS, were sent up into the mountains to investigate. And they basically find that the people there died, and there's some kind of virus that's going around that was apparently developed by the Umbrella Corporation. I wonder if they'll be important later on in this franchise.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And basically, they blow up the mansion, and some of the animals that got a hold of the virus started escaping back to Raccoon City, and that sets up Resident Evil 2, which honestly, I didn't play the original Resident Evil 2, but I do, however, have played Resident Evil 2 Remake, and it is one of my favorite games ever made. I am literally wearing a Resident Evil 2 t-shirt right now. I did not wear this intentionally. I just put it on this morning because I just needed something dark to wear because it was cold.
But I want to talk about like can I talk about like my own 1 hour experience with the original Resident Evil 1 remake?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not good at explaining things, so please forgive me if I stutter a lot. But from what little I've played, I really enjoy it. I've only played the Switch version, which removes the tank controls. But so far, I'm really liking it. It controls even without the tank controls. It controls pretty well. Yeah, that's all I can say. Story's also interesting.
Yeah.
Again, I've played this game for 1 hour. I still haven't beaten it because I have other games that I'm focused on.
Oh, well, yeah.
Hopefully, I'll get back into it. But for now, yeah, my experience with RE1 on Remake is very limited, and I apologize.
Nah, it's all good. I see a lot of people complain about the story in Resident Evil 1. Or, just in general, oh man, the story hasn't aged well when they started playing the remake, and I'm like, what were you expecting? It's supposed to be it's literally just a bunch of cops running around a house, running around like a haunted house full of zombies.
It's cheesy.
It's cheesy. That's the best way you can describe it as. And I would not change that for the world, honestly. Excuse me.
Excuse you.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love Resident Evil 1. Of course, some of the puzzles are definitely the prime focus, aside from the survival horror. I think of all the games to get the survival horror down right, 1 is probably the best because not only do you have the limited tank controls, but you have all the different enemy varieties and all the tight corridors of the Spencer Mansion. It is pretty fascinating that they can make something so tense, and even when they remade it still aged so well. And it it really did like kick things off for me, for the franchise at least. So with that in mind, let's move on to Resident Evil 2, which I know you have played because I sent you my copy.
Yeah. I played that game gosh knows how many times. To the point where, hey, I want to speed run that game one time. It's actually one of the few games I want to speed run alongside Resident Evil 3 and Madhouse. But we'll get to RE3 later. Sorry for the small tangent.
Nah, it's all good. As for Resident Evil 2, I had played RE1 originally on the, no, I did not play before Resident Evil 2. But I had wanted a Resident Evil 2 remake because I had only recently gotten a PS4 by then. And at PlayStation's E3 in 2018, they announced it. And, seeing, the young Leon face reveal was just absolutely amazing. Moving that on, I played the beta for it. I was really impressed, and I bought the game day one. And I absolutely fell in love with the remake. And so on, next time I was at a game store, I had bought it digitally originally. So when I got my copy, physically, I put it on my shelf, and then 1 week later, you talk about how you want to, you texted me saying, I think we're in a VC, you were talking about, oh man, I wish I had I wish I could get Resident Evil 2 remake, and I'm like, it's free real estate. And I mailed you my copy with a nice postcard and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that brings me back. Oh, man.
Such different times.
That brings me back into my youth.
Such different times.
I was freaking 17. No, I was 18 at the time. I wanted to get into it. I think I wanted to get into it because of the game, after the Game Awards.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely, it was an amazing experience. And it was really cool, being able to, share that experience with you. Saying, this is one of my favorite things ever. Here you go. Let's see how much you like it.
Yeah, usually I'm pretty much a pussy when it comes to horror games.
Honestly, I can relate. Especially
But oh, sorry, you go.
No. I was about to go on a tangent. You keep going.
But after a few plays, I actually got used to the horror in RE2, and I was like, this is what horror should be like, and not Jump Scare Simulator 101.
Oh yeah. Just the whole dread of trying to manage your resources, running around, avoiding these unstoppable enemies. That's what makes Resident Evil 2 so amazing. Just Resident Evil in general.
But I do recommend you play the game with headphones on. It actually makes the experience a heck of a lot better.
Especially hearing Mr. X. I myself am...
Or the lickers.
Oh, the lickers. Well, you can't even hear the lickers most of the time. They're just standing on the ceiling like sucking on a lollipop or something. I don't know. They got a jawbreaker. I can see that happening. But yeah. My horror tolerancy is very dependent. If I'm playing on my couch or whatnot, I'll be fine. I might have an itchy trigger finger when I'm playing on my PC or on my PlayStation. Yeah, I'll have an itchy trigger finger, but I'll be okay. But then there comes VR. VR horror games, they get me very in the moment and very tense, and that's one of the biggest appeals. I have not played the Resident Evil 4 VR version because I only have a Quest 1. I don't have a Quest 2. The fact that they're not porting that to PC makes me sad. But back
to they removed one of the lines in RE4 or VR.
Okay.
I'm like, why? Why
that
game? Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get to RE4's port madness later. But for now, Resident Evil 2. Yeah. Long story short, I can play games on my PC and my PlayStation and not be too scared. But if it's gonna be in VR, my headset's gonna get thrown through 3 walls. But yeah, what do you think is your favorite part about Resident Evil 2, though?
That's actually a really tough question because honestly, I really like exploring the REPD. The REPD.
The Resident Evil Police Departments.
Yes. But yeah, I really like the RPD. Like exploring the areas and learning about like I can't speak.
Mm-hmm.
But like running around seeing what was used to be seeing like a normal police department turned into a complete hellscape. Thanks to the T virus.
I think the 2 remake is definitely assisted on that front, thanks to the RE engine. My
yes,
God,
this is literally the best engine I've seen in video games. Not joking.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree at all. The RE engine is masterclass, especially with how how they took it from that, and then they applied it to Devil May Cry 5, and I believe they also used it for
or like other games like other Capcom games like Monster Hunter.
I have to say, like, which Monster Hunter game did they use it on? I think it was Rise. I don't think it was because I really don't think it could have been what's it called? The one on the consoles in the
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I'm looking. They did use it on other games. Like, apparently, Capcom Arcade Stadium, Ghost and Goblins Resurrection, and Monster Hunter Rise.
How did they use it on Ghost and Goblins Resurrection? The game is in 2D.
Probably for cutscenes. I don't know. I haven't played Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter. What? Ghost and Goblins.
Yeah, me neither. But yeah, I think the Raccoon City Police Department and the environment in general are always so fascinating when I'm playing through it. Especially when you get to like the Umbrella Lab. Masterclass. It like everything looks.
Can we talk about the character models for a second? So we can. I want to gush on the character models. My gosh.
Oh yeah.
They are amazing. They're so freaking amazing. Sherry's the only one that looks a little bit weird, but I don't care.
To quote Everyone else looks amazing. She looks like the kid from Monster House.
Oh god. What do you mean? There are multiple characters from Monster House.
The main kid, the protagonist.
Oh, the main boy?
Main boy.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of people complain about Resident Evil 2 Remake basically just getting rid of the original voice actors, like Matthew Mercer as Leon, and sticking to motion capture actors. But honestly, I think it worked really well. You can't just have the same person. If you're going to redo something, you can't have the same people do it every time. So I think it worked really well in his favor. And because it's motion captured, every voice seems like it fits the body. And I think
the voice acting is very realistic and genuine.
Oh
in
yeah,
my honest opinion.
And yeah, you're right. The character models, that's honestly really good. I really like I like Claire and Leon's models. They look perfect in terms of like the original game. Like if this is basically supposed to be an interpretation of the original, and it's supposed to reflect how they're going to age in the future, it turned out really well. And also for the fact that they didn't make Leon ginger like in the original PS2 game. Bowl cut Ed Sheeran looking ass.
God, he looks so... Oh, God. Original RE2 looks so corny. I really want to play it.
Oh, yeah. Now, anything else? I think my personal favorite bits from Resident Evil 2 Remake would be just the enemies. Especially running away from the Lickers, Mr. X, and of course, my personal favorite, the giant alligator in the sewer. Seeing that originally gave me vibes like, oh man, is this going to turn into an action game just like Resident Evil 4? With like all of their chase scenes? But no, it's so good. Something else you have to pay... There's a little bit of detail in Resident Evil 2 Remake. You only hear it like once or twice, but there's specific examples. You know how in Resident Evil 4 that Leon goes on to be this quippy, like, one-lining guy? Who just is, like... And I'll talk about why I love that as well later on. But there's little hints and traces of that in Resident Evil 2. When you're basically taking down the church bell to get that electronic part for the lower prison deck, you basically Leon
he
says...
He basically says, don't... you say it. I forgot the line.
Leon says, hope I don't have to write a report on this. And then when he blows up the mutant alligator, he's like, chew on that, you ugly son of a bitch. Because he... Get it? It's an alligator, and he made it bite on an explosive pipe. Yeah, no, that's...
Of course, it's freaking course. It's Leon Kennedy.
We're
talking about.
Like, everyone thought like he was just gonna that for the entire time he was just gonna be the this perky like young police kid just walking up to the police station and learning being a cop isn't all it's cracked up to be. But no, it honestly is handled really well. So I think that's it for me for Resident Evil 2. Anything else you want to comment on it real quick?
Ada.
Ooh, Ada.
My beloved.
It is probably the deepest her character development gets in any of the games, judging by how she's handled in future installments. And it really does a good job of like setting up her relationship with Leon because like, yeah, in Resident Evil 4 and 6, it's usually just a cat and mouse game of I'm going to get like, I'm here on business. I'm too dangerous for you. But no, she's actually like, she can get a little manipulative. She can get a little dark, and she can be a little bit like sympathetic in Resident Evil 2 Remake. And I think that's a really good quality that they added on to it.
Also, her gameplay section was really great. Not gonna lie. Oh, I forgot the Sherry. I forgot the Sherry Birkin section. That.
I wanted to do a little bit of a quick bit about Ada's gameplay section. After 2020, you know her little hacking gun? Mm-hmm. It looks like the COVID thermometers that they put up to your forehead.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's it. We're moving on to 3. Moving on to 3 Remake. Yeah. I think 3 is the only game... 3 Nemesis is the only, 3 is the only game in the series that I actually own on the PS1. Because I just saw it, like, used at a game retail store, at a game exchange. And I played through it a little bit, and then, like, 2 weeks later, they announced Resident Evil 3 Remake, and I was like, shit! But yeah.
I think the funny part was that it was releasing a few days after Persona 5 Royal was releasing on in the West.
Honestly,
and people
yeah.
thought that P5R was going to take the L or something like that.
What?
Apparently people thought that.
People thought P5R sales were going to drop because of Resident Evil 3 Remake?
Apparently? I don't know. I really don't know, but it seems to know that did not age well.
Yeah, that didn't age well at all. That's not even like a fair comparison between the two. One's a survival horror, the other's a funny and the other's a survival horror remake of like a PS1 classic, and the other is a remastered package of one of the best PS4 games, and it's a turn-based RPG life simulator. These lines don't intersect. The only way they intersect is the fact that they were sold on the PlayStation. That's it. But yeah.
But y'all feel stupid now for making that comparison. Still love you though.
Of course. Now, my mom pre-ordered me my copy of Resident Evil 3 Remake on Amazon, And normally she was really tough about like me getting like mature rated games, but when I play like when she saw like all the box, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, like this is a little mature. Like she's like, no, you're turning 18. I totally get it. This is one of those Stranger Things. Like this is one of those Stranger Things, and I'm like, yes, it is one of those Stranger Things, because she just saw the cover and looked at Nemesis, like on the Amazon page, and like I was told, and it basically convinced her. I'm like, I mean, yeah, it takes place in the 90s. That's kind of close. Go on ahead, I guess. And I got my copy 2 days before everyone else for some reason. Like, it was supposed to release on that Friday, but I got it on, like, the Wednesday before. So I beat it before everyone's even came in the mail.
I didn't even get mine until, like... I think you did send me, like, some PS quote.
I remember the story. Originally, when I beat the game, I beat it, did the New Game Plus, got a couple of achievements, and then was done with it. And I said, I'm gonna mail Alice the copy so that they can have it too. But then, it was announced that COVID was breaking out, and we were all having to stay home. So I basically just sent you, I was gonna mail it to you. I looked at the post office, I asked my mom to go to the post office, and she said, "Oh no, those rates are they're gonna boost the rates way up because of COVID." I'm like, "Huh." I'm gonna walk to the postal store with my copy and ask, "Do you know how much it would cost to send you my copy of Resident Evil 3 Remake in 5 to 10 business days?"
How much?
You know, on average, it might cost like $20. Like it cost $20 when I sent you Resident Evil 2. No.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to send it to you then, it would have cost $121 because they were trying to restrict any kind of, like, personal mailing. I could have bought 2 copies of Resident Evil 3 Remake with that. So, like, you know what? No, I'm going to spend my money better. You know what, Alice? Just because of that, I'm just going to... Can I buy you some PSN gift cards? Or I can PayPal you or something? Come on, let's just get this over with.
I don't even have a PayPal.
That's a serious issue. Nah, it's all good. It's not a serious issue. Unless we start selling merchandise again. But by then, I think you'll probably have... By the time we have that figured out, you'll probably have, like, a PayPal or something. But yeah. So, I sent you my copy. You played it. So let's get on to what we think about Resident Evil 3 Remake. I think the one thing I want to start off with, though... I have not seen many people make this comparison, but... We talked about the models from Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Resident Evil 3 remakes some motion capture models, despite being released a year after Resident Evil 2. The facial models look they look a lot more realistic. Like they look a lot more expressive as well, especially like seeing from like Jill and Jill and Carlos in particular look really good. And
I freaking love Jill's model so much.
I remember like when Resident Evil 3 Remake was announced, there was controversies of like, oh man, she's not wearing that blue tube top and the white skirt from before, and I'm like, because like if you remember Resident Evil 3 on the original game, she basically wore a white skirt and a short white skirt and a blue tube top.
Hold on, I'm actually in the Resident Evil wiki right now, trying to see what she looked like. Blah 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 blah.
Just look up Jill.
No. It was a black skirt with a white hoodie around it. What?
Oh yeah. But yeah, people were upset for the fact that, oh man, and she doesn't, and she they toned down like the sex appeal of her design, and I'm like, I don't know about you, but I kind of find that I like this design a lot better. I like this new one a lot better, because.
Sorry.
No, I didn't have anything. Go ahead.
Right, but they did make the original. Well, make a classic one that was inspired, keyword, inspired by by Jill's original design in 3, which caused even more controversy because she's wearing a skirt. I'm like, so what?
Yeah, at that point it just gets kind of stupid because like people wanted it, and now they don't want it. Like, oh my god, make up your minds, dear lord.
Yeah, like, and people were saying that they censored Jill's outfit. By that logic, Carlos is censored because he's wearing a different outfit.
Yeah.
And by that I mean he's wearing his new clothes in Remake. Only his hair changed.
Honestly, yeah. His hair changed, and people say like they like his old design over the new one. No, I like his new design a lot better. It definitely
Same here.
His scruffy hair definitely plays into his personality, and I like it. But yeah, enough of us gushing about the models. Let's talk about the game itself. Now,
unpopular opinion, I actually like Resident Evil 3 Remake.
That's not unpopular because I like Resident Evil 3 Remake.
Hey, so we're in the same boat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, people seem to not like Resident Evil 3 Remake because unlike Resident Evil 2 Remake, RE3 cut down a lot of its content from the original game.
Especially the clock tower.
Yeah, the clock tower is definitely the most notable, and it also, to be fair, it also doesn't have the same amount of replay value as Resident Evil 2. But that's not a fair comparison because it's a remake of the original game. The original game didn't have, like, Resident Evil 2 had 2 different protagonists. You didn't get that option in Resident Evil 3 on PS1. You just had Jill, and that's it. So they basically had to just make it a one and done. Does it really kill down the replay value? Yeah, it does, but I think it works better on its own sets of merits at that rate. And I think people also just talked about what they didn't like was, I know like Chaotic has talked about this before, but was how automated, or no, not automated, situational that Nemesis was, because
he's basically like linear.
Very linear, yeah. Just 1 or 2 sections where he'll follow you around, but it's only once you've completed something. He doesn't walk around like Mr. X does. He's just there. He just schmoovin'.
Yeah, admittedly, I do want more of a Nemesis like chasing you around, because he's really tough. He's actually really tough. Like, he's like a beef up version of Mr. X.
He's Mr.
And
X.
I want to see more of that.
He's Mr. X, but with spaghetti hands. and he's actually a lot more dangerous. As a matter of fact. I think it's fine that they made him linear. Because, well, like, you can't really have a guy, like, you can't have this giant mutant guy walking around with a rocket launcher following you everywhere. At that point, it's just gonna get unfair.
Yeah, but there should be, like, times where... I forgot what I was about to say, but you know what I mean.
Where, like, he's in, like, a free roam, like, he's in a free roam status. Even if it's for, like, short portions of the game, that would have been cool. But considering the fact that this wasn't actually Capcom's A-team working on it, the A-team was working on Resident Evil 2 Remake, and they had another team working on 3 at the same time. So, the coordination between, like, getting Nemesis and Mr. X like each other was not very strong. They basically only had a year to work on that side. And I think considering what they had to work with, that's okay. I think someone else mentioned that they didn't like about 3 was also the gameplay, because the game, like, some said the gameplay was easier because in Remake, something that 2 doesn't have that 3 added was a counter move, which basically you could dodge and then punch or dodge and knife an enemy.
You are basically defenseless, while in 3, Jill is it's experience.
Exactly. That's what makes sense, because, like, you know, Carlos and Jill are, like, trained soldiers. Meanwhile, Claire and Leon are like, Claire's literally just, like, a college kid coming to visit her brother. What? Claire?
I thought for a moment you called Leon Lily.
I did not call Leon Lily. Those are completely different syllables. I would never do such a thing. Let's go back into I'm gonna stop recording and go back into the footage just to make sure. Oh wait, no, we're running out of time. Okay. Yeah, no. It makes sense in terms of, like, the character experience, like, in terms of their story. But aside from that, yeah, it looks pretty. The game itself is pretty good. It looks very visually appealing, especially when you go to, like, the stores and you can see all of those little there's, like, Mega Man toys.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I was like, what?
In the demo, yeah, it was hilarious. But yeah, I think it's good. Like, it has
also the Stars uniform. You can get the Stars uniform. It's my go-to outfit. 10 out of 100 out of 10.
Oh yes, Beret Jill is best Jill. Any last thoughts on 3 before we move on?
Actually, no, I don't. Okay. I had something witty to say, but I couldn't think of it.
It's okay. Now, moving on to the genre-defining game in the franchise. The one that got people hyped, but also kind of removed a lot of the horror aspects.
And that game is Resident Evil Umbrella Corps.
I didn't even play that one. Oh wait, no one should play that one. That's awful. Wait a minute! You're going out of the timeline! What is this?
Yeah, Umbrella Corps is the best game ever.
Oh,
very genre-defining. 1,000 out of 10.
Critically reclined, 10 out of 10 on IGN. Masterpiece. Oh, and Resident Evil 4, 6 out of 10. Too much zombies.
Wait, there's no zombies in RE4. 0 out of 10. Moving on. Okay,
but yeah.
Oh, seriously,
Resident
Evil 4.
Now, I think this is probably the latest of the games in the timeline that you have played. Is that correct?
It's actually my second RE game.
It was also my second.
Yeah, I think I bought it back in January of 2020, which was pretty much the beginning of the year. It was when I was about to get into Resident Evil, starting to get into Resident Evil, because I had this plan to, like, walk through all the other games, but that did not work out. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah. but yeah, I think I got it on Switch, and it's quite difficult.
Yeah, it really
was quite difficult to get used to at first with the tank. Actually, this was the first ever game I've played that had tank controls, so
wait a minute.
It was pretty.
It doesn't have tank controls.
Yes, I played the Switch version. It does.
I played the Switch version.
Wait. Okay, I'm stupid. It's been a while since I played the game. But from what I know, the game did have tank controls on my hand. Or was there an option to disable the tank control?
Do I need to define tank controls for you real quick? Do we need to pull up the video game dictionary?
Okay,
it's okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty okay.
Yeah,
Point is, controls were a little weak. The controls were were a little weird for me to get used to at first.
to be fair, they are they're not changing up the gameplay style. They are literally just porting it one-on-one with all of these, from the original on the GameCube, which was you basically had to use the top buttons to shift up and down and left and right to where you were firing your gun. There was no using the right stick. They were like, no. But that's okay. But aside from that, it's revered for being like the big third-person shooter that it basically kicked it off. It was really revolutionary. And Resident Evil 4, you know this, and I know this, and it's pretty funny because of it. Because it started out, it had a weird development history, like having conflicting ideas. And one of the builds ended up being one of Capcom's biggest franchises. That's right, Phoenix Wright. No, it became Devil May Cry. It became Devil May Cry 1. And that makes the fact that they used the Resident Evil engine for 5 so very funny. It keeps looping back. But yeah, it released on the it released to the GameCube only, which then proceeded to port to the PS2, the Xbox One, the PS3,
pretty
PS4,
much every
the Switch,
every game that's under its belt.
PC,
I can tell that there's going to be a PS5 version coming
VR.
Very soon.
No, it's gonna be a remake. They already announced that the remake's in development. Yeah, no, the remake's already in development. But yeah, we also can't forget the fact that recently, actually like a week ago, not even, Resident Evil 4 VR is an Oculus 2 exclusive VR version of Resident Evil 4 because we needed more ports. Now Alice, I don't know about you, but I can't wait for Resident Evil 4 on the Samsung Smart Fridge. Look, you can already play Skyrim on that thing. What's stopping them from putting it on the Alexa?
I mean, I wouldn't stop them. I mean, they can port it if they can port it on the on Apple Store or game.
They already did.
Play.
They ported it on Apple. They put it on iPhones a long time ago, and they delisted it. It was like before the Devil May Cry mobile game.
I actually did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm stupid.
No, it's fine. People barely even knew it existed, but it's hilarious. I'm surprised it didn't port it to like the 3DS or something. It probably would have actually worked fine on the 3DS. Well, I don't know. That thing can barely run the original Luigi's Mansion. It depends. But anywho,
it depends.
Yeah. What do we love exactly about Resident Evil 4? The memes.
Yes, the memes.
Of course. I think like the biggest meme to take away from it was all of the QuickTime events, and then, of course, as per usual, Leon going in this game to being a badass, snarky motherfucker.
I freaking love Leon.
I sent my right hand to dispose of you. Your right hand comes off. I let some of our pass into the sewer. Thanks.
Where's
thanks
everybody going? Bingo?
Oh man, yeah. Let's see.
What a way to kick off the game.
Like, where's everyone going? Bingo. I love Resident Evil 4 so much that it made me want to cosplay as Leon Kennedy. I have the cosplay sitting in my room right now. If this was one of those podcasts where you sit where we had webcams on, I would have put it on I would have put the whole thing up before we started. That would have been funny. But no, I just stuck to Resident Evil 2 t-shirt because it's cold. Wait, it's cold. I should put on the Leon jacket. That'll keep me warm. Epic. But yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, Resident Evil 4 did revolutionize a lot. It did inspire a bunch of over-the-shoulder survival horror shooters. But it also had this I think what it influenced most was not even like any other company's games. it influenced the future of the franchise because they kind of got rid of like the helpless survival horror aspect, and it just became they implemented a lot of like a bombastic action, which they would proceed to really be inspired by going into the next few games. You know, with Resident Evil 5 and 6, which were very action oriented, but we'll get to those in a little bit. So, what's your favorite? What's your favorite bit about Resident Evil 4?
Putting Ashley
In a dumpster.
Yeah. and also putting her, having her wear the night outfit.
Oh yeah. To all the people listening, if you hate escort missions in video games, blame it on Resident Evil 4 for starting them. They were the big reason they exist. And there's nothing
if you want to, if you want to replay the game again, and you've cleared Ada's route, Ada's section, whatever, blah, you get an alternative outfits, and one of them being Ashley in a night outfit. So she can't get killed, so she can't get killed, nor taken away.
Honestly, before you said that, I wanted to make my whole bit was I'm saying, hey, you know what's the one bit nobody likes about Resident Evil 4? Having to escort Ashley when she gets captured like 17 times, where she's like, Leon, help! Or when she weirdly hits on Leon at the end of the game. Like, bruh.
I remember. I think like there was one bit that VR removed. I forgot what it was called, but it was about like ballistics or something.
I have no idea. I haven't seen anything from VR.
Yeah, apparently they removed that bit because they wanted to get with the times or something. I'm like, it's years old. And it's funny because people thought that Ashley was like underage. She's 20.
Yeah, and Leon's like in his 30s or something, but who knows? But that doesn't matter. They're fictional characters, and they're legal. It's silly to talk about these kinds of things. And most of all, it's for how the game aged as a whole. Is there really any point arguing about a game from the PS2, from the GameCube? Exactly. There's no reason.
Yeah. Before you move on, you know about the...
I haven't even told about what I like about Resident Evil 4 yet. How am I supposed to move on?
You're not supposed to move on. It is my... Okay, I'm kidding. You go.
I think what I loved more about Resident Evil 4 was, I think I loved the enemy variety and the bosses. The boss where you're just in that one, like, dangling the dangling crate, and then you have to exit out and actually fight him. Ooh. Absolutely, like, my favorite bit from the entire game. You just also have, like, all the boss fights in the game in general are really good. For a game where it's basically, every enemy pretty much dies the same way, just shoot them. But, all in all, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this was a huge leap considering the fact that you went from 3 on the PS1 to 4 on the GameCube. Graphically, they went through so many, like, everything had to change. And I also just, weirdly enough, I got more scared playing Resident Evil 4 than I did with the originals, because some of the enemies are legitimately terrifying, especially when you have... Especially
that one enemy that breathed, I forgot what it was. The Regenerators.
The Regenerator, I was about to say, yeah, the Regenerators terrified me. I didn't know how to beat I died in them, like, only once, but still, having to figure out, like, I need to buy the sniper rifle scope in order to find their hearts, yeah, my favorite part of RE4 is the enemies. Now, Alex, what were you trying to say earlier?
That was something that I was thinking of before we, like, move on.
Okay, yeah, what about it?
One of Leon's alternative costumes is basically the mafia outfit.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I really like how I don't know which weapon it is, but when you equip it, it changes to match the style.
The Tommy gun. Ooh.
Yeah. Like, oh my god. Oh no.
What is it?
Oh my god. I had a Jack, I had a realization.
Yes.
Uh that outfit, it reminds me of one of Aoi Miyake's cars.
I was about to say, I was wondering why. I was like, that's why I thought you were bringing it up in the first place.
You knew all along.
I knew before you knew.
Yeah,
Wow.
please tell me. So I guess Aoi Miyake is a Resident Evil character then.
Sure. Okay. That makes
Okay,
sense.
Yeah, it's pretty much my excuse to bring up Aoi again. Aoi, my beloved. I'm sorry.
Nah,
and
it's
also
all good.
bring up the best card in the game. Moving on.
Moving on to the games we haven't played for obvious reasons. Not because
Other than we're broke.
and we don't have the time. Resident Evil 5 and 6.
Those games are divisive.
Very divisive. 5 definitely took the action-heavy approach that Resident Evil 4 was going on and just made it the entire identity. No longer was it really scary. It was all action, baby.
And 6 pretty much amped it up to 11.
And they were very focused on one new element, co-op. Co-op was the new thing they were trying to really push, because that way, like, you can have multiple people buying it and playing it and whatever. From what I understand, people enjoy 5 a lot because yeah, it's action oriented, but it hasn't gone on the waypoint to the point that it's stupid. And it actually does bring back a lot of past characters like Wesker and Chris, and they get
Also,
handled pretty well.
Sherry.
That's 6.
Oh.
Oh, I guess segue into 6 now. Resident Evil 6 basically just says everyone is.
Played the demo of it, actually.
I played it on Switch. Yeah, 5 and 6 run surprisingly well on Switch. I never would have imagined that. But yeah, Resident Evil 6 pulled a Smash Bros. And said everybody is here, and pretty much everybody is back. You have Sherry, Leon, Ada, Chris, and they're all playable. Now, this game is it is mixed for the reasons you might think, for the fact that there's 4 different campaigns, and some of them don't feel all too evened out, and for how they handled some of the characters. Like, Chris is just drunk and traumatized and mad at the world, and then Leon's just depressed and kind of sad, and he's no longer quippy like in Resident Evil 4. But I think 6, for how controversial it is, it does have a lot of good merits. There's no doubt about it. It will always,
But from what I've heard, there's a ton of, QuickTime events.
Oh,
and
no.
by a lot, I mean a lot.
You know, Resident Evil 4, one of the little quirks is that it introduced QuickTime events in the Resident Evil series. They weren't really all too, they didn't appear too much until, like, the second half of the game, where it got stupid, and then Resident Evil...
Yeah, like the sword fight.
And Resident Evil 5, it had just about as much as 4, but it was spread out a lot. But then 6, everything is a QuickTime event. Flying a helicopter.
Including finding a key, apparently. I don't know.
Oh, what's
from
this
what I've heard.
What's this Kingdom Hearts nonsense? Moving on. Yeah, no, I don't... I think one day, if I ever have the time and I come to visit you, we can play Resident Evil 5 or 6, because they're really focused on co-op a lot, just because it'd be funny. And, like, we just record it for a video or something. I have no idea. But, yeah. I mean, that's all we can really say about them. And with that, I guess we can move on to 7 and 8, or 8 is also called Village.
Which are two games I actually haven't played.
And they're two games I have played. 7 and 8 definitely helped revitalize the 7 revitalized going back to horror. If you think of it like a trilogy, it's kind of cool. Resident Evils 1, 2, and 3 were distant shot out tank control survival horrors. 4, 5, and 6 were like action horror games. And then 7 and 8 are first person survival horrors. And that's actually really cool because they were experimenting, and 7 was the introduction of the RE engine. People saw like the original demo of walking through like the through that house. It was called the kitchen demo, and then they announced like one E3 later that it was indeed Resident Evil 7, and people were so fascinated, and it honestly is really impressive. I think what I do like about Resident Evil 7 from what I've played, it is really cool in terms of atmosphere. You're basically in a swamp house in Louisiana, and they really sell it to you. It's dark, it's messed, and I'm not dark in terms of like messed up. Every Resident Evil game it gets like messed up in terms of dark. No, it's like actually it gets really experimental with like first person views, found footage moments, and even like the DLC, they just mess around with like the characters. It is pretty fascinating. And then Village basically takes that and does a decent job connecting. It does, without spoiling it, it does connect to the Resident Evil mythos, to where everything starts. And it also introduces us to Chris, which is pretty cool. And he's voiced this time by Carlos's voice actor from Resident Evil 3 Remake. And while I heard people complain, I think he does a really good... I heard he does a really good job. I like him.
I did not know that. I actually didn't know he voiced Chris.
Yeah, he did. I forgot his name. But he did a really good job.
Hold on. It was Jeff Sheen. Jeff Sheen. If I'm saying it right, it's Jeff Shine. Yeah, that's the one.
He does a really good job. It doesn't surprise me that with moving on to this whole new demographic that they did have to drop what's the guy with the three first names or something?
3 first names?
Who voiced Chris originally? Who also voiced Sonic?
Roger Craig Smith.
Roger Craig Smith, yeah. With Roger being dropped for Chris, you kind of miss it, but for them going in a new direction, I think it makes sense. And especially for how Resident Evil 8 does set up this... It sets up the Resident Evil franchise in a new perspective as well, with how it takes everything. And it's really fascinating with what it means for the franchise going forward. Now, I don't think it takes spoiler talk to talk about how, Resident Evil has some pretty cool characters, but people got really up in arms when
when
Lady Dimitrescu first made her appearance in like one of the trailers. And I think if there's one video of someone like going awooga over them, I think it's Markiplier. Markiplier has like the best reaction to it, where just like, guys, what the hell? Why didn't you tell me about this? And it plays like heavenly music over the one frame you see of her in the first trailer. It's like her name is Lady Dimitrescu.
Dimitri from Fire Emblem.
She's like, apparently she's like 10 feet tall. Guys, why didn't you tell me about this? I want her to crush me. And then it's like, I'm sorry, Amy, his girlfriend. Like, I'm sorry, Amy, but and he just starts sweating and looking into the camera.
Yeah, apparently some people didn't like her because she was popular. I mean, some people who didn't like because they didn't find because they didn't get the appeal. That's fine, but some people hated her because she was just popular. I'm like, why?
I think I'll be honest. I'm one of the people who was not on the OMG Lady Dimitrescu is so hot and tall, please pick me up and carry me like a child. I'm not one of those people. I love her design, and I love her like her concept, and she is a really cool character. I just one of those guys who was all awooga for her. But hey, if that alone was able to get people to buy Resident Evil Village and to play it, because it is, from what I understand, is the best-selling game in the series, apparently. Aside from 4, but 4 doesn't even count at this point because it's on everything. But yeah, I think Village is definitely a worthwhile experience. And they really knew how to sell it.
I seriously need to buy a PS5. I need this. I really want to play this game so badly.
It's on PS4!
Cool. What? Wait, it is?
It's been on PS4, Alice!
Okay, I am super illiterate and stupid. I do not know that. Holy heck, it is!
And it's...
My god.
Most of all, it's on PC!
Wow!
Well, you...
We should just title this Alice the not Alice the Idiot. Although I am one.
Alice the Illiterate with an A.
Alice the Resident Evil Illiterate. But yeah. Also, apparently they made Ethan a better character in 8 and Village, because from what I know, he was pretty much a cardboard in 7.
Honestly, in Resident Evil 7, he was more of a foil. He just like sweared once or twice, and he's like, "I gotta find Mia. I gotta find my wife. Hey, where are you? Like, I'm taking you home with me." And then in 8, he actually has he has motives. He wants to save his baby daughter, and he's actually really he swears a lot, but you can see how damaged of a character he is, and how much he's grown and moved, and that does make him a really cool character. It's just a shame that you can't really get fan art of him because we never see his face. You can tell, there's 1 or 2 cutscenes in the game where you can see him from, behind, where you can see the back of his head, oh, he's blonde. That's the most we'll ever see out of his face, then. Am I the only one who thought that based on his character design from, 7, that I thought he was gonna... I thought he would have, dark hair. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think a certain somebody said that he was better than the other Resident Evil protagonists. I'm like...
In what regard?
This was before Village was a thing.
That's very confusing. I'm looking at my I'm looking at my Leon jacket right now, and I'm like, okay, I will not make any rudimentary comments. But yeah, no, Ethan's pretty cool.
I'm not gonna say his name, but it's somebody we used to deal with.
Oh, I think I get who you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barack Obama.
Yeah, of course.
Barack Obama, the Resident Evil fan. My fellow Americans, I absolutely love Lady Dimitrescu, and I would like to set all the government funds to making her real. I have asked Elon Musk with his experimental cat girls, to make her a real human being. I'm sorry, Michelle. Vampire Mommy calls for me.
Jesus Christ. Alright, moving on.
That's pretty much the entire mainline Resident Evil series. I think the only thing we can talk about was, we talked about the memes, which was Mr. X and Resident Evil 4 and Pretty much everything. The only thing left is, like, I guess the movies. We have, like, the Paul W.S. Anderson films, which is just basically an excuse for him to put his wife, Mila Jovovich, into anything. And then, the CG films. We don't have to cover them today, but, they're cool. They are canon, unlike the live-action movies. And I do have some of my own, like, it's basically a whole trilogy. I have my own personal issues with you know what? How can I have issues with a movie if I can't remember its name? But yeah, the first two movies are pretty cool. The third movie, I think, third CG film. What is it called? It's
Vendetta?
Vendetta. I have my issues with Vendetta. It's not the worst piece of Resident Evil media, even though, like, because it's canon, it does hurt when you really look at how stupid some of the stuff it does. But the action's okay. I can turn...
The action's from what I think, the action's absolutely ridiculous.
It's absolutely stupid. Yeah, they took a lot of inspiration from John Wick. I think it's the one constant thing I like about the movie. But I think I can live with that. You're never going to see me watch it on my own free will, but if for some reason, like, there's a streaming service that gets a hold of it, and I'm busy, I'll let it play in the background while I'm cleaning around the house or something. That is really it. But aside from that, the first two movies are pretty cool. Especially Degeneration. Degeneration, despite taking place...
Damnation?
The first one is Degeneration.
Okay.
Damnation is the second one. I do recommend Damnation and Degeneration. They are really cool, and for experimental they are pretty fascinating. Something else we had, I forgot the name of this.
These live action movies.
Well, no, we'll get to that in a second. But this is before that.
Apparently, there was a series that was on Netflix of Resident Evil.
It was called Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. It's for a long story short, it is basically just it's a fourth movie. They just didn't want to call it the fourth movie. They just split it up into four 30-minute episodes. If you put them all together, it's a whole movie. What's fascinating is, since this came out after the remakes, it's they did use the cast from the Resident Evil 2 remake for Claire and Leon, and despite all people's thinking about it, I think the actors did really well updating to these older characters that have been through some serious shit. So Infinite Darkness is also it's good. It's not going to blow you away. It's not like this is one of the best pieces of Resident Evil media. No, but I mean, if you got nothing to do, it's pretty cool. And it's animated really well. And then, of course, we have the new Resident Evil movie, Resident Evil 2. I forgot what it's called. Resident Evil something at Raccoon City. It's called Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. Have you seen the trailer for it?
Well, Resident Evil. I have.
The live action that's in theaters.
Yeah, I have.
November. And
yeah, I have mixed feelings.
Same, because I think the casting is okay. The set design's pretty cool, but the CGI looks kind of iffy, and the fact that some of the new promo stuff basically implies that these movies are taking place literally at the same time. And I don't know about you, but as someone who's played 1, 2, and 3, knowing that 2 takes place a few weeks after 1, and then 3 takes place within the same 48 hours as Resident Evil 2, that timeline looks pretty screwy. When I start seeing Resident Evil 1 enemies right next to Claire and Leon, that's when things get really intense. But yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna see it day one, Well, no, I'm gonna see it day one because I'm a Resident Evil fan. But I mean, I don't think it's gonna be that offensive. I think it'll be better than Paul W.S. Anderson's movies. That's for sure. The original Resident Evils. But I do like it because it actually is adapting the games. It's not adapting events loosely around the games just to have just for Paul W.S. Anderson to write some kind of fanfic. What about it what do you feel about it, like, in a description? Okay, you said you're mixed. What about it makes you feel mixed?
Basically, like what you said, like I can't even put it into words, but like basically what you just took the words right out of my mouth. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I do appreciate the references and all that, but that's about it. Mm-hmm. Really. I
think the only thing...
Also, like Jill without her iconic Barrett without her iconic Barrett.
Beret, yeah.
Beret, what Barrett? We're going Final Fantasy in here.
The Final Fantasy themed episode isn't for like we don't even have that one scheduled yet. But yeah, I think the only thing worth else taking note of, despite the fact that they did, is about the cast. I can't look at the same knowing the fact that Chris is played by Fred from the Scooby-Doo Mystery Begins movie that was on Cartoon Network. You cut out.
I actually forgot about that. That actually made me laugh when I saw the casting. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Fred.
It's Fred. Like, oh man. Shaggy says zoinks. Shaggy says zoinks. Velma says jinkies. Daphne says jeepers. Fred says hello. I'm Chris. I'm Chris Redfield. Welcome to Resident Evil.
Welcome to Stars.
Like, welcome to Stars. No. Fred says, Leon, you need to have sex with my sister.
That's one of the.
That's one of the memes. Yeah, is I don't know who said it. I don't know where this started, but it was basically about Chris going because he was on so many steroids for how boulder busting literally he got for Resident Evil 5 that he can't make children anymore. So he's looking for somebody to have kids with Claire. So he's going after Leon and I forgot his name again. The protagonist of 7 and 8.
Ethan.
He's going after Ethan. There's someone on YouTube who's made like full actual songs about like Chris meeting him like they're actually the One Piece openings.
It was the One Piece opening. That's why when that song "We Are" made it into mainstream, all I thought was, oh god, is Kokoro going? Oh, no, never mind.
Come aboard and bring along. Okay, whoa! We can't say the S word on YouTube.
Sorry, this is a PG-13 Resident Evil.
Yes, despite the fact, yes, you're saying it's PG-13, despite the fact that I said the F word like twice in the past hour.
Say it again.
No, I can't. We had to play by X-Men First Class rules, where you can get by saying the F word like once or twice in a PG-13 movie, and that's it.
Come on, say it. We gotta turn this into R.
Is this the part where it cuts off to like if I say the F word, is that gonna cut off to saying to the end card?
Yes. I'm joking. Come, all right.
I just started saying off the entire like Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch ass meme. That has like 7 F-bombs in it alone.
Where did this even? What Why did it evolve into that?
Because somebody said a no word for the YouTube algorithm.
We're not even monetized.
No, the algorithm also depends on who gets to see our videos.
Anyways, I think that we will just end it here.
Yeah, we talked about Resident Evil. Yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite horror game series of all time.
Yeah, and I still need to get through the other games.
You can skip a couple of them. One day we will meet again IRL, and we'll just play 5 and 6, and we'll just absolutely dread the whole time. But yeah, happy Halloween, everybody.
One more thing.
What?
One more thing. Alright, one more thing that I'm pretty sure you noticed. I'm pretty sure none of y'all would notice, but you know about Carlos, right?
Yeah.
His original voice actor in 3 was Vince Corazza.
Mm-hmm.
He's the voice of I forgot. He's the voice of Sexion in Kingdom Hearts.
Wait, which one's Zexion again?
One with the number 6.
That doesn't help me. Give me like a hair color or something.
White hair, grayish white hair.
Okay, yeah. With the long hair, the doctor. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. And also, I did not realize this. He was in the original Sailor Moon as Tuxedo Mask. I'm literally looking at his IMDb.
How did I not know about this?
And also, here's something that will make you laugh. He was in the Cheetah Girls. He was in the Cheetah Girls as, guess what? Jackal Johnson.
Oh my god! It all comes full circle.
It all comes in full circle.
He's exiting KH3, be like, all right, time for me to leave. And Roxas is like, but you didn't do anything. And he walks off back into the lab.
Back into the lab. No. He says it with an accent because apparently in RE3 he has an accent.
Oh.
At least in the original.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's what
we're
calling it a night. We're calling it a night. Happy Halloween, everybody.
All right. I hope you all have a happy Halloween and take care, my fellow Unchattables.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.